Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Chef Life by Cottage Foods. I'm here today with Mark at the Owl Leeds. Hi Mark.
Hi, how you doing? You alright?
Good, yeah, good. So yeah, just we've been working with you now probably just over a year?
Sounds about right, yeah, just around there.
So we started with Liz at home and then met you through that connection there, and then since then you've moved sites again. So this is what, your third site with Owl?
Yeah, so we started, me and Liz opened home, and from there we opened the Owl in the market. Then through COVID and other reasons, we found the market wasn't the right size for us, and we wanted to expand what we're doing and give a better offering. So we found this site here, Mustard Wharf, which is just down by the canal, but the site wasn't ready until there was like a 3-month gap, so we had to find an interim place between the market and here, and we moved into Home's old venue and popped up there for a bit, and then we opened up here May last year, 2022, and we've been trading here for about a year now, really. Yeah.
It's a beautiful space, to be fair. Like in terms of just the outlay and things. How many covers are you getting in here?
So we aim for about 56 covers. That's like our maximum sit down we can do. We do have some space outside for casual dining, so we do like a grazing tray offering, which is like slightly larger than snacks. So it's kind of like pick and mix. Like you just have a beer, have some crumpets, have some oysters. So it's quite simple and relaxing. And then we do more of a dining offer inside. So lunch, dinner, tasting menus.
Awesome. And do you find that in terms of customers, what they buy more of is the tasting menus, or? So I think what I really like about you versus some of our other customers, I feel your tasting menu changes quite push the boundaries. Don't tend to stay too safe for that. I quite like the variety that you offer.
So what we find is like we do like an a la carte, which is a set price, but you choose what you want each course. So depending on what the occasion is, some people are just coming out every week, every 2 weeks, or go for the a la carte, and then people want a special occasion or go for the set menu. But it's just variety. So we try to offer different things for different people. So we're a bit more flexible what we can offer people, so it meets all their needs.
Yeah, I think there's something in that. I was talking with Nathan the other week, and what I find really interesting at the moment is this sort of, I know you guys aren't a country pub, but that almost, you can have a standard menu meal mixed in with a tasting menu if that's what you want. And I think offering those ends of the spectrum are starting to work really well across a number of sort of restaurant platforms. We're finding with like good country dining is kind of working well with some of our customers. And again, that inner city, I mean, in terms of Leeds and stuff, I think you guys offer something really different.
Yeah, we try to be as flexible as we can be. So not every diner is the same. So some people are coming in and they're coming in for something quick, so we offer that. And some people are coming in for something like the meal out every 2 weeks with their friend, their family, and we offer something for that. And then some people it's something a bit more special, a celebration, something they can really enjoy, and we offer that as well. We try to make sure that everything we do is the same standard, so it doesn't matter what you come in and you get. So if you come in and get a crumpet, that's the best we possibly can do.
Awesome.
And if you come and get a tasting menu, it's the best we possibly can do. It doesn't matter what you're getting, we want it to be the best it can be.
It's the right way to approach any business, really. It's funny that translates into us. I want to offer you the best possible product at the best service, and I think that's what stands the test of time.
Exactly. Well, it starts there. Everything starts with the product. So if the raw product's good, then everything that falls off it will be good, because you can't start with bad foundations. So that's why we work with you guys.
You'd be surprised though, the amount of people we've met over the years where price, and it's hard running a business, I totally understand it, but price has become such a factor that quality slips, but then the headline price for the consumer is still quite high. And you're like, I don't know how you can stand by that in terms of what your sort of values are, as a business.
Well, I find at the moment it's kind of everything's a bit inflation's misleading in the sense of, if I go to McDonald's and I buy a Big Mac meal, it's only £1 more. But people don't really see the maths in it. They see, it's only £1, but they don't realise it's gone up 25%.
Exactly.
And if I sell a meal for £50 or £100, whatever, and I put it at 25%, it's £25. And you go, how do you put your price at £25? Because it's
all
not
relative, isn't it?
it's relative.
Yeah.
So people don't always see that. So we're like at the moment that's like that trying to
I think that's quite
that.
interesting because my background's food manufacture. I work for a number of brands going into more FMCG, sort of Tesco, Asda, and stuff. And it was always interesting when the horse gate thing happened. I felt the consumers were so shocked, and I'm like, well, you're expecting to buy 8 beef burgers for less than a quid. You know, the farmer's got to make money, Tesco got to make their money. You know, everyone's got to earn, and the cow needs to be raised, and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I think there's a real disconnect, and I don't think that's ever changed between what the work you guys put in the kitchen and the quality of ingredients that you're using and the price to run the business and for them to have that experience, you know what I mean? Whereas Mackey's, like you say, it's all right because it's low end, a high price increase doesn't...
People don't really understand, like England as a country don't understand food. We're terrible with food in the sense of, like, if you go to France or go to Italy or go to these places, they have farmers markets and they go and buy something and they understand that there's a lot of effort got into that and they want to use the best stuff. But you know, you go to Morrison's, Tesco's or whatever and you want a chicken breast for the lowest possible price, but you don't realize the thing that goes into it isn't great because everything's relative. You don't put any investment into something, then you won't get anything out of it. So if you put the minimum amount of money into food, then the end result will be minimal as well.
No.
But people don't really see that, and they should.
No, I think there's a big disconnect overall with people's relationship with food and stuff, and it's been quite interesting for me going from dealing with the retailers, and I've dealt with some excellent buyers there, then coming over and dealing with people of your caliber, where, you know, quality is absolutely everything, whereas there was always a balance between quality and price.
Yeah.
And price was generally the 99% driving factor.
Yeah.
And you know, that really sort of ignites passion, especially with what we do. So, but I've jumped ahead quite a bit. So, do you want to tell people where you've kind of come from, how you've got here, and...
Yeah. So I started out at school, decided I wanted to be a chef. So I went to work. So I went to college at Thanet College, which is one of the best colleges down south.
Yeah.
And then from there, I went and did some work experience off my own back at La Gavroche and Waterside Inn.
Nice.
Both of those. So, and then from that, I got offered a job in London at La Gavroche. I worked there for a bit, and then I came back to work in Kent, around Kent. So I worked at a few places around Kent. You know, Rosettes, Ambition.
It's a good scene down there as well, isn't it? Like,
yeah, it was all right. It's all right. It's getting a lot better. It was okay, but then it's getting a lot better. It's weird, like where I'm from. There's a lot of chain places, so it's that whole
Green King and
so it's not always the best places. You have to go, like where I'm from, Maidstone. It's like there's this town, and then around the town areas there's more independent places that offer better options. So yeah, there's less good places down in Kent, but you have to look a lot harder to find them.
Yeah.
But there are good places, so you should be clever with that. And then from there, I got offered to work with someone I worked for to open a restaurant and hotels and rooms in Cyprus. So I went and worked there for a couple of years.
Wow.
Yeah. So I lived there for 2 years, and then came back and just went up north. Went to the Star at Harem. It's like went up to senior sous chef there, and then time was right to move on to pursue something myself. So I went and took an executive chef job, kind of like a gastro pub group called The Fleece, Craven Heifer and Addingham, and was there for a few years, and then got offered position as head chef at the Box Tree, and so I did that for a few more years.
Yeah.
Kept the Star there, you know, all the stuff that things tells, and then from there met my business partner Liz, and we opened home restaurant in Leeds, and then the Owl and Cora and Boston Spa, and then that's
where you're at. Yeah.
That's now.
Rapid journey. So how did you find Cyprus versus what you've done down south? Quite a change, or?
Yeah. So it was kind of. So when I went there, I was playing football a lot, and I ripped my ACL, my knee. So it wasn't built yet. So it took like 5 months to build. So I was recovering while planning and stuff. So it was actually quite serendipitous, essentially, because I got paid basically to recover, which was good. Yeah. And then it was really good being in Cyprus, but being like an island, it had a lot of like found it hard to get ingredients. Infrastructure wasn't really great there, so it was a lot harder to get stuff we needed. So yeah,
Was it more of a focus on traditional food out there? Like,
yeah. So it was like three different styles of food. There was like ultra traditional, like kleftiko, meze eating, which was like from the Turkish and Greek influence to the island, and then there was a real kind of Western influence food. So like a really like the hotels are really Western and kind of high end, but with a really high price point. And we were trying to be somewhere in the middle. So yeah, so that was kind of what they did. They also did. There was a really high like it's the best way to explain. It's kind of like a chain restaurant style of food where it's more for tourists. So it's
okay,
like it's really simple, and like it's just steak and chips and your other
accessible.
stuff, accessible
Yeah.
stuff. So there was like kind of three kind of styles of food. Something really traditional, something really Western, like high end, and something that kind of was like kind of more like a version of a chain restaurant. So
And
yeah.
did you find so we were sort of one of the big catalysts for us changing our range and sort of moving a bit more in it. Worked with a really cool chef called Thomas Labaski, he's a Greek chap, works in Wakefield. He's gone back to Greece now, unfortunately, but he really opened my eyes to a lot of their cuisine. And yeah, it's my favourite place to travel now to eat, to be honest. But I really like their food, their traditional food, and all that behind it. And again, going back to what we were saying earlier around that quality of ingredient, I have faith almost without seeing who the restaurants purchased off that it's legit gear. They'll know the farm, they'll know the dairy, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of fell in love with Greek food from meeting Thomas. But would you say, have you taken anything from that time and sort of brought it with you?
Yeah. So the raw ingredient, simple flavors around those ingredients is something they really like to do. Look, you had to be really local with your farmers and your suppliers because there wasn't a supply chain.
Yeah.
So you had to do it. So using local suppliers, working with what's available to you around you is basically kind of our key things we do. So I'd say, yeah, that's mainly kind of things I took from it.
Yeah, interesting. And would you, from that experience, would you travel again to chef or
I mean, I probably can't now because I'm kind of in a position in life where I've got some things holding me here.
yeah,
But
we all?
if I had my time again, yeah, I'd do it again. It was interesting. It was great. I mean, the worst thing about it was the bit beforehand when you're thinking about all the things that can go right and can't go right, and it's like holding you back. But then as soon as you take your foot on the first foot on the plane and you're out there, you think to yourself, why did I ever think about this stuff? It's so easy and simple.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It's interesting. One of my best friends, Justin, he lives in Texas now, but he lived with me for a bit. He's a flatmate. Broke up with his girlfriend. Got offered a job through a friend out in Germany. Spoke 2 words in German. He was like, "Fuck it." And similar to you, he's
Yeah.
quite intrepid about it. But then, yeah, got there, lived out in Germany for 2 years. Now he lives in New York, Texas. Like, he's travelled all over. I'm like, that's awesome because you remember him being so nervy with it, but
Yeah.
he just figured it out.
It's so easy. It's like you just think, why would I ever think about this? It's easy.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just
One of those. But yeah, it's really interesting looking from a different angle that work with Woodall Spa, Shane up there, great lady. She's Chinese. Her story was she went China to Australia, and that's a massive language barrier.
Yeah.
And then from Australia to Leeds, basically.
yeah.
And she was saying, in Australia it was very much French-based cooking.
Yeah.
So a lot of lingo was in French. So she was trying to learn English and then French and then implement that in her work. And she was like, that was a bit of a head fuck. I'm like, that's the real testament. And I suppose similar to yourself, like,
Yeah.
imagine they're not speaking English in the kitchens, you're having to figure out Greek. And
Yeah, well, yeah, it definitely was like that. Well, the side I was on was the Turkish side, so it was Turkish. But because, like I said, the Cyprus is an island, like a Mediterranean island, and it's, they say Yavash, Yavash, which is slowly, which everything they do is slowly. Their cousins in the council and someone else who's a family is doing something else, and you have to get this permission to do that and that permission to do that, and they can't. And the other thing as well is because it's so hot during the day, they can't work from 11 till about 5 at night, so they have to stop for 6 hours because, you 40-degree plus weather, you can
Yeah.
seriously,
Yeah, you'll die.
yeah, dehydrate and have problems. So everything was slow. So I had like 5, 6 months of just basically planning. So I got to learn the language
Awesome.
and plan
Yeah.
and do stuff that I ordinarily wouldn't have had a chance to do. So it worked out quite well for me.
Awesome. It was a real testament to the experience, that.
Yeah.
And then sort of taking your first steps from that, and then obviously coming back to working again over here, taking your first steps to Elizabeth Home, how did you find that going into your own business? Did you find were challenges that you didn't foresee? And
Yeah, well, yes, it's a good learning curve and everything. So, I mean, I'm fairly fearless in certain things. Like I don't always think about the problems. I just kind of go ahead of them and think and plan, get things in the best possible state. But generally, I like to think those problems will sort themselves out if we plan properly.
Exactly.
So it was hard to start with. Like any new business, it was hard. You know, like early starts, late finishes, not having enough staff. You know, being in a new place. How do you recruit? How do you attract the level of staff you want for the ambition of what you're doing? So we had that, and then we're also learning on the job what we want to do. You know, you're a chef, and then when you open a restaurant, you're not just a chef, you're a restaurateur, which means you need to learn how the front of house works, marketing works, finances, recruitment, and you go from knowing 15-20% to having to know another 100%, and how do you get to that point? So it's a lot of trial and error. Working with someone who knows a lot of stuff is always good because you don't get experience without having experience.
And did you split that role, Liz? Did she have certain skill sets and you had certain
Yeah,
skill
so I
sets?
had certain skill sets and she had certain skill sets. So from the first thing, like menu development for the first six to 8 weeks, like before we opened, I was doing a lot of that. She was involved quite a lot, but she was more involved in like the marketing and other stuff. But she'd show me how to do that, and then we'd work together on the dev, and then it was like day-to-day running the kitchen, day-to-day running the floor. We got someone in the floor, and we just kept adding people to the team roster.
And have you found with the staff? So what I've found is, so we've had cottage food just over 6 years now, and I brought Jennifer in as my business partner about 6 to 8 months in. We'd worked together previously, but the big thing for us has been staff, getting the right people. Like Rihanna, Aiden, Amy, for in the team now are excellent, but kind of had to go through a lot of learnings with other people, where they've not met our expectations. The current team, that's made this business shine for us in terms of owning it and things.
Well, he's exactly right. Yeah, we've had a lot of trial and error. We've had some people that we've had a lot of people we thought would work out, haven't worked out. We've had people that have worked out, but then their life changes and they have life things that and they can't work in Leeds anymore or whatever. So you have to be able to roll with those punches. I mean, yeah, it's a constant learning curve. So you learn from each person. Certain people do certain things, and you have to work out: is it carrot? Is it stick? What this person needs. Not every person's the same. The general rule of how you want people to act and what you expect from them, but generally it does change for each person. You have to be a bit more.
It's attitude and aptitude, I found.
Yeah, I say that as well. Yeah, it's we don't generally hire on experience because no one's really got the experience that you need anymore, and it's really hard. So when I was like a commie chef or whatever, I would have go for a job and there'd be 5 or 6 or 7 people applying for the same job, and they would have had at least the same experience or more than me. So it was a challenge to show why I was the best person for that job.
Sure.
And now you can get quite a few applicants for a job, like 5 or 6, but the experience level is so low and unrealistic ability level for the position they're applying for, and you have to be able to train them up to be able to do what you want. And
it's a lot of investment in your time.
It is a lot of investment. So yeah, it's gone from being maybe 5 or 6 for one job to one person for a job maybe. So it's like it's gone down so much.
Are you finding that across? Because what I find interesting with all our restaurant customers, like you were saying earlier, you've got such a range of staff functions. Front of house and wine, and then all the different roles in the kitchen. Are you taking that approach? Are you finding people with a lack of experience across all functions?
Find the front of house generally. We are a bit more lucky with front of house. It feels like the the skill set needed to be a good front of house person is less technical stuff. Like cooking's more of a technical thing than a front of house position.
Sure.
So if we find the right person who has the right attitude, we're able to add skills to them a lot easier,
Yeah.
And they're more multifunctional, so it's easier to use them in various different roles. Whereas if they're a chef position, it's more, it's having the right attitude is part of it. Then there's like organizations, being able to organize yourself, be able to manage yourself, and then on top of it, it's like, right, can you cook, can you taste, can you do all these things? So there's a few more multifunctional things I find in the chefs. So it isn't always just the right attitude. So they need to be able to learn quite well as well.
Yeah.
So having a good IQ always helps.
Yeah.
Be organized.
And are you allowing the chefs to lead you a bit in terms of menu creation, or do you keep that sort of more to yourself?
Well, we do. We have conversations all the time what could be good on the menu, but what I found lately is that it's hard. The younger chefs, trying to get them to come up with ideas is quite difficult. What we tried to say, this is the Owl restaurant. So the Owl restaurant has a tone, a theme,
Absolutely.
and how we do things in the menu. So you need to understand what we do, and you have to work within those constructive constraints. And I had a few people that come back with ideas that they don't fit within what we are, and you're trying to explain the constructive way of, like, this idea is good, but you need to do this to it to make it fit within line of what we do. It's like if it was like a music time, we're a rock band, and you're bringing R&B to me or hip hop, you can't go in this thing. You need to change it around to fit within what we're doing. It's not to say the raw ingredients aren't right or your technique of cooking it isn't right, but the way you explain it, or
the tempo,
has to fit with what we're doing.
Yeah.
So that we do have those conversations all the time. Like generally, from a food dev point of view, we've been working so long on dishes and what we do. We generally have like our hero dishes that we really like, and then we just keep tweaking them. So we did it last year. This is the dish last year as it was. Right, what worked really well on it? Oh, that did. What could we improve on it? Oh, that. And then we just kind of strip away the fat and then just
you're not reinventing the wheel every time.
We're trying to hone things. We generally on because our menus change every 8 weeks. So generally on our menus, there are probably 80%, 75 to 80% of dishes that have been on before last season that we want to bring back because we thought they were so good, and they'd be like 25% of absolute brand new dishes. So essentially, we always got something new coming on, a new menu, but we don't want to overload people with brand new stuff so they can't manage it.
Yeah.
So we want similar. We also like similar techniques. So if someone change a dish, that the actual technique, how we get to the end product, is familiar to people, so they don't freak out. They can relate to that and go, all right, so I did this 2 months ago and I did it this way, and then but I'm doing this and it actually connects. I can see how it connects, and it's a little bit easy for me to learn. So we try to connect things with familiar ideas, so when people do learn it, they can learn it a lot quicker and easier.
Yeah, interesting. I think that's that sort of magic in the kitchen is the interesting bit, and I suppose going back to the team part, they've got to fit within that rhythm, within the tempo of how you guys work and how they learn, and like you're saying with that IQ, like assimilate into how you cook for the style of the Owl and all this sort of stuff. It's quite interesting. And in terms of your menu, so you talked there about the theme of the Owl. What would you want your average consumer to kind of think about here, if they were looking to dine?
So what we aim to be is basically our ethos is mostly around game and fish. So whatever's really good in Yorkshire is kind of what we look for. So like the game and fish for good in Yorkshire, and we're always looking for Yorkshire products because we're a Yorkshire restaurant. So that's like our core statement for the food from a kitchen point of view. From like a consumer point of view of what we would like them to think about our food is interesting, really tasty, and really craveable. They want to come back and try this, and it exceeds their expectations. Like, they get comfort from what they're getting, but they also a little bit, I don't know how you did that. How'd you do that? So there's a little bit of a wow factor. Yeah. So those are the kind of things what we aim for when people come.
I came a couple of months ago for Sunday lunch with Dan Whitmore, our best Sunday lunch I've ever had. I didn't know Sunday lunches could be that good. It was great. It was really good. But I kind of like the vibe here suits what I want from a restaurant as well. It's just where your settings and interior and stuff. And
yeah, we try to be comfortable and comfortable and cool. Really, it's kind of like it's quite stripped back and like kind of industrially cool because this area, but we're trying to make it as comfortable as possible. So you don't come in, you feel stiff, you feel uncomfortable. We want people to come in and feel like they can relax and enjoy it. Because if you relax, you will enjoy something more.
Absolutely, yeah. And the service was great. It was testament. There was nothing that I could have knocked at all. It was really good. But I suppose interesting, a bit like in my business, trying to get everything right in terms of what you guys think of the brand and stuff and the service and everything. What I find must be quite a head fuck for you is not just do you have to worry about the quality of the dishes in the kitchen. You got to worry about staff in here, the customer experience in here. Like, do they think it's cool? And
it's weird, isn't it? It's how it works is weird. So, for instance, a guest can be in here and we can be running around like absolute idiots in the back or in the front, and we can feel like, it's not going right. It's just not right, working well tonight. And then tables could be like, it's the best ever. Food was great, or I really enjoyed it, but you just don't feel it. Like you don't feel that. It's weird. So it's like the same thing. It's like somehow you can get TripAdvisors and you can have 5 out of 10s. 5 out of 5. Sorry. Yeah. And then there's one star, 1 2-star, and that can just ruin your week. But you've had 10 reviews that are like perfect. How does that happen? But you tell yourself this all the time, like don't worry about it, you're doing things right or whatever. But it just affects everyone. Like it is weird. Like you would have thought, like you just go, all right, so it's 99% great, 1% not great. Someone thinks it's not for them, right? I'm happy with that. But you just focus on the 1%.
But it's weird. I think that's the curse of having your own business though, because we service 200 customers. No, more than that actually. 300 customers twice a week, give or take. But I'll have say you were like, the driver was a dick, or this was wrong. That will ruin my week.
Yeah.
But then I think it's because I want everyone who deals with us to think we're cool as fuck and we get it right. And in my head, I'm always
you want it to get
out.
Right every single time, but reality is you're never going to get it right every single time. You're in a service-based industry. It's like here, right? I could deliver the perfect thing for me every single time, but someone may want their steak cooked well done or whatever, and because we've done it perfectly for us, it's not perfect for them. Yeah, and you can't.
But that goes back to what we were originally talking about there. I think that's mindset. So what I've learned in dealing with people like yourself is I've learned to go, it's not what I like, it's what you guys like, and I'm going to enjoy what you guys like. And I think that's the way to approach more interesting dining. Yeah. If I want it how I want it, I'm going to go Mackie D's or I'm going to go Five Guys. But if I want an experience, then you just got to relinquish control. I'm not going to tell the pilot how to fly the plane. So but that, I think if you take that mindset to sort of higher end dining, I think you'll have a great night. That to me is
you just gotta relax and just enjoy it. Yeah. I mean, you have to be realistic with what you're going to. Like if I go to McDonald's, I know what I'm getting. If I go to Man Behind, I know what I'm getting. If I go to a 3-star, I know what I'm getting. And I have levels of expectations for those places. There shouldn't be one level of expectation that fulfills every single thing. That's just unrealistic. But your levels of expectation of what you're receiving would change with what you're receiving, because that's how it works. Yeah,
exactly. But this is it though. It's like the Sunday lunch analogy for me is great because like I say, one of the best Sunday lunches I've ever had here. But prior to that, my mum's Sunday lunch is the best ever, and you're not going to cook the roasties like this. So why have an expectation? It's you've got to allow that you guys know what you're doing. You've done it for years, and you're pushing the boundaries. And I think that to me is the enjoyment out of eating in nice places. And so, where do you see the sort of menu going? You got anything that you've been working on that you're trying to push, or?
So our menu format base is staying the same. Mm-hmm. We're happy with what we are doing. We're always looking for new ingredients, new propositions, new wines, new suppliers, new pairings. So don't see us really change anything too much. So we've changed our menu around slightly in the sense of before. So Monday, weekdays we're doing more a la carte based menu, so you can choose whatever you want. with set menus attached to it, and then we do special events. But from a point, I mean, we've just got our charcuterie off here, just up and going a lot better again.
Yeah.
So we're working close with our butcher R&J, and we're getting a lot of salt aged meats, and then we send it back to get minced with our flavorings, and we get really nice chorizos. We're on chorizos now. We've got a really good chorizo offering. The charcuterie's got a load of spec and other things we're working on. So it's more for us. It's more of the same. Trying to make everything more consistent, better quality. It's not really anything radically we need to change. We're really happy with what we're doing. You know, there's always certain tweaks we want to do to things to make things a little bit better. So like when we were at the market, we couldn't really do our own fresh bread. We were buying it in, but now we've got space to do our fresh bread, which we kept the same.
Yeah.
You know, before on a Sunday we weren't really doing charcuterie, but we took a step back. We saw what does Sunday need to be better. What can we offer? You know, what time gaps in the menu, the dining experience, what can we put in there that can improve it? And so we just had a little bit here and there to improve. We're not really going to radically change anything because we feel like the product's working really well and people really enjoy it.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
So it's more for us, more of the same, better quality ingredients, sourcing good ingredients, find out what's best at the time of year. You know, good in seasonings, better seasonings, what we can use. So like, that's why we use guys. So we try to get some of the Japanese seasonings on things so it can improve dishes.
Yeah.
We're not stuck on something has to be with something. If there's an ingredient that can make something better, then we will use it. So we're always trying to develop new ideas, better ideas, improve what we have. So it's awesome. Always a constant improvement.
And where are you finding your inspiration? Do you have certain things that you go to for that, or is it just?
It's a combination of things. So, you know, you could have like a prawn cocktail and go, right, I want to recreate the idea of a prawn cocktail.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how, but I want to do that. And then you start picking apart and pick the ideas of what you like about the prawn cocktail, like the acidity, the tomatoes, the freshness, and then the brininess of the prawns. Like, how do I get that in a dish? And then we'd work on that, evolve that into create something. And then, so for instance, like the venison for RJ's like so good. So it's like, right, so we got venison, right, what do we do with it? What do we put with it to make the venison sing? And then we'll make a dish. So for instance, on the menu at the moment, we got celeriac burnt, raspberries, our own black pudding, venison with chocolate sauce. So it's like basically there's a combination of ideas, but it's based around venison and chocolate sauce with fruit, which is a classic combination. So it's taking something really good and combining it with things. So it's like it's a product-led dish. Yeah. So there's idea-led dishes, which is like the prawn cocktail. Then there's product-led dishes, which is like the venison. And then sometimes what I go and look at what other people doing, and if they've got a great idea, then I take it and think, right,
do your spin.
how do I reverse engineer this to make an our dish? It's a great idea what they're doing. Now, how do I reverse engineer it to make an our dish? So you know, there's like, and then sometimes we just take classic dishes. So for instance, like we do a treacle tart. So we'll take a treacle tart and we'll do it quite simply. So for instance, we do a treacle tart before, and instead of using orange, we use sea buckthorn. So it's basically treacle tart. We just changed the flavor slightly, but we kept it as similar to what it was as before. So we took away the tart case because it can get wet, and then we just serve with like milk crumble and then sea buckthorn biscuit and then sea buckthorn curd. So it's essentially it's taking an idea and trying not to mess around too much, and then so it's like a simple idea. So we've got like ideas, product-led dishes, reinvention of other people's ideas, and then classic dishes. So it's all those kind of like the 4 or 5 things how we work.
Going back to that simpleness that you're talking about in Cyprus again, isn't it? Like just taking those flavors and letting the flavors speak.
Yeah, exactly. Some things will have like 3 items in the dish, and it's really simple, and that's what it needs. And then some things will have slightly more, and it's a bit more intricate, so it makes it a bit more interesting. But it's not really a case of, I think, you know, one size fits all. You know, it's working out what you have and how you complement it best.
Yeah. And what's your favorite dish that you'd say you knock out?
I mean, The dish that we always seem to get like the most amount of confidence on, I don't know why, but it's we do like a sourdough crumpet with cod roe puree and wild boar jam. People just seem to go crazy for it.
Yeah.
We literally had it on when we first opened the market. It's off. It's not on the. We used to just do it for the snacks for everyone and on the grazing tray. It's now solely on the grazing tray, so you'd have to buy a grazing tray to try it. But yeah, so
Awesome.
that's it's quite simple, but that seems to be like everyone goes crazy for.
And what, just going back to what we talked about before, so to your sort of journey, what got you into wanting to be a chef? Do you cook a lot at home with your folks, or?
Yeah, so when I was younger, my mum used to work a lot, and then I would spend time by my grand's house, and then she would be like, "Oh, let's cook some stuff." So I'd basically cook a lot of food, my gran, and she kind of got me into it, and I was like, enjoyed it. So.
And do you take any of those recipes from your childhood? Do you try and reinvent those a little bit, or do spins? Or do you think that influences anything as you go forward, or?
I don't think so, because a lot of the food we did was really comfort food. So that's kind of how she cooked. So she's a bit older, and she just like cooked comfort food. So she'd be like doing Rice Krispie cakes, or she did call it cheese and potato pie, but basically she basically put like layers of cheese and mash and then bake it. I mean, it tastes really good because it's cheese and potato, but it wasn't a pie.
Yeah.
But that's the sort of thing she's doing. So she wasn't really like the best cook in the sense of technically, but she was just really good, and she was really
got you the
nice.
passion for it. Awesome. Awesome. That's cool, man. No, I find it interesting to see whether like people's influences, I think, are interesting as to how they're, because in a weird way, if I step back from it, I find chefing quite a strange job, because you've got so many levels to it. You've got Bob who just wants to work in a pub and knock out whatever brew his vet is knocking out, which I imagine is a lot of microwave thing in play type thing. You've got the dudes at Mackey's, and then you go for all the way through to like your level and like Lisa and Swartwood's level, and I'm like, the passion meter is so, whereas working in an office, I kind of think is working in an office. Like,
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's weird. I attune it to like being an athlete. Like, it's weird. It's like you train every single day, you perform every single day, and you're trying to find like 1% gains and 2% gains, and how do you make it better? Like, and then you've got performance every single day, and expectation is like pressure. Like someone comes into the restaurant, they expect a good meal, and the pressure of delivering, the pressure of
it's all down to training, though, isn't it? But like
exactly. So it feels a bit like it relates more to like being an athlete or somehow, that you're literally having to perform and train.
That's a good way to put it.
Expectation of it.
I find the spectrum so vast versus any other job I've sort of seen in terms of level of give a fuck as well. It's so strange. But then equally, I find in my side of the restaurant trade, in terms of supplies, what I'm drawn more to supplying people like yourself and Liz and things. But then it's, how do you make money at that? How do you just keep focused on those ingredients? Whereas actually the money is me finding a Green King pub and knocking out all the baguettes. In terms of volume, but that does absolutely nothing for me.
Well, the thing is though, it's like everything. It's like 80%, 20%, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You have to love, people who are naive think they have to love their job 100%, and in a perfect world, I'd love that.
Yeah.
But there's always things that you have to do to compromise what you're doing to pay for the bigger thing. So we have people come in, they drink, and they just order oysters or whatever, and we just say, yeah, that's fine. But like, it's not what you want to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you want to offer them the best version of what you do and the most expansive. So sometimes you have to do it. To pay for the bit that you really want to do.
No, it's a good way to look at it. And have you found the booze thing? Was that quite new for you, like moving into wines and understanding all that, or?
We yes and no. We had a focus on it since we opened home. We always like, this is a food and wine led business. We want to do wine pairings. At home we just did tasting menus. It was like, it's going to be a tasting menu and it's going to be paired with wine, and that's what we're going to do. And then we opened the market, and we were like, all right, we're going to do ales, and it's going to be like choose what you want, and come in and you can have anything. What we found with that was that the problem with that is people weren't really up to speed. Like, it was just about happening down at Borough Market, where people go to the markets and they go and get some cool food and cool drinks and whatever, and they understood it, you know. But up in Leeds, they weren't quite up on it yet, and so it was like, oh, my table's a bit close. Oh, why do I have to get off my table? Or why I don't want to sit at the bar. I want to sit here. You know, like there was a lot of like, oh, the walls are made of wood. Why are you in the market and all this? And it's like, and for us, for us, it was a really cool venue, really cool food and all this. But a lot of people came in that it took a while to educate them that it is cool. So what happened was basically, so we were doing the beer and then the food, and then we were like, all right, we want to add a few more wines, so we did a more expansive wine list to go along with the food alongside the beer. And then COVID happened, and it was like, all right, so we're gonna have to reassess what we do here.
Sure.
So we did our home boxes, and that was really good for us. So it gave us a revenue stream, which was like tick. We need that to survive. But then it was the secondary benefit was the fact that it was just advertising us to everywhere.
Yeah.
So we were selling like, I don't know, like 200 boxes a week, and we had we had two different kinds of boxes. We had like our premium box at like £100, and then like our everyday box, and people were buying them every week. And then we had deliveries to DPD, so it was going from, you know, Scotland all the way down. So we had that, so it was great advertising. So then during lockdown, we had time to like reassess, like what do we do? And then we basically knew that we wouldn't be able to have as many drinkers in because of the rules. So we just kind of stripped back our beer offering at the Owl in the Market, and then we started replacing a bit more wine. And then when this place came up, we assessed it again. It's like, well, you know, we're going to use Australia because they're our brand ambassador. We're a brand ambassador of them, and we believe in what they do. But we were using Northern Monk at the market, and unfortunately, I was like, well, what's the point of us selling Northern Monk when Northern Monk refectory is 200 meters away? It's like, it's just not worth it. So we just added a few more wines. So we already work with really good wine suppliers at home and here. So we use a lot of really local stuff. So we use this company called Vince Ramos that are based in Leeds. They're biodynamic. We use them for basically for all the time we've been trading, and they're really good. And then we just added a few more people to them. So like another brand we use a lot of is Gooseborn, which is an English-based sparkling. So we just started adding to our collection.
Has that been quite a journey for you? Were you quite interested in wine when you got into chefing, or is that just been an add-on that you've had to like figure out and learn?
Yeah, it's kind of an add-on. I generally didn't drink too much wine when I was younger, but you know, it's like everything. It's like blue cheese. You know, first time you have it, you know, like I don't like this, but then you start acquiring a taste for it. So the same with the wine. I wasn't too into it, but then as it became part and parcel of what we're doing and more.
Good on the rabbit hole.
Yeah, like I'm like, I need to know what we're selling. I need to know what we're doing. So even if I'm not the biggest expert on it, I need to know that things are being done the way I want it to, and that we understand exactly what we're doing. So you have to have a level of knowledge that you basically know kind of what you're doing.
Again, it's just like going back to that, you know, managing front of house. Again, that's just another portion of managing things, and you need to be an expert on, I suppose, and stuff. It's quite inspiring to sort of keep all that orchestra going. Across all.
I mean, like I said, we hire really good people, so we're really happy with our front of house team. I'm really happy with our kitchen team. But at the end of the day, you know, you still, as much as you trust people, you still need to know it. You can't direct people the way you want to go if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, true.
So I need to know kind of where we want to go. Like you give people like outlines of what you're looking for. Yeah. You know, and then they come back with ideas, and you can go, right, we like this. We're going to work on this one like this.
Yeah.
So the same thing. So we have a couple of wines that are basically exclusive to the Owl and Home. Awesome. So we work with Vince Ramos, and he gives a standard Riesling. It's like, I think it's only like 2 places in England that have it, and then we're basically to them.
Awesome.
And I'm like, all right, seeing this online, this wine, and it went with this, and it's really good. If you've got anything similar, like, and he's like, oh yeah, I got this from this. I'll bring you a sample and we can try it. And then we did, and I'm like, oh, that's great. So we go from there. So sometimes I may not be the biggest expert on things, but if these things I like, and I'm like, I kind of want to do this, and then we have experts around us. So like the Robert Vince Ramos is like an expert, and he can help us.
That's the key though. Like I find that not having people around that.
Yeah.
He's taken me a stupid amount of time to figure that out because I'm a bit dumb, but actually they're invaluable, you know, for different things. Like if you came to me and asked me something about like MSG type ingredients, I know jack shit about gastronomy. I'm halfway through a book on it, but I've got a guy who's really good that I go to and go, okay, Mark's asked me for X, and he'll recommend. So I don't like a complete dummy. But then we try and be honest with that as well. I don't really know what I'm talking about with this. I think that helps. But yeah, it's that expert thing, I think, helps.
Yeah, you can't be. I don't think you can be expert at everything because it's really hard. But you want to be expert in the things you do. But you also need a little base bit of knowledge on the things that you're not expert in, so you're able to direct and help.
Absolutely.
Get where you want.
And are you finding customer-wise, do you get a lot of returning business here?
Yeah,
local as well?
from the start, when we from home until now, our return business is really high. Like we think champion customers are essential to every business. We think, we will make sure that we go above and beyond expectation of people who come. If you've been here before, we're always looking to offer them something back. Like we do guinea pig nights and whatever, and it's like you're going to get the first refusal on that. If we are a little bit low in the week or something, and we're like, all right, we got a drinks on us off, we're going to offer to people. Let's give it to let's send it to our priority list. The people been more times, and we'll give them the first refusal of things, priority on things. Like drinks on us, other stuff we can, make them feel special and want to come back, and then generally like they're doing our marketing for us. They're champion customers, tell everyone how great we are. So it's been something we've been like really worked on from the get-go. Awesome. How to get champion customers and how to keep them.
Yeah. Oh no, I think you're right. It's same for our business is based on that. That's all we're after, really. Well, listen, I know you. Thanks for your time today. You've got some awesome cooking to do, Rianne. Show some dishes and stuff. But people can get you on Instagram, the Owl on Instagram, anywhere else? Yeah,
the Owl Leeds at Instagram. I'm Mark Owens Chef at Instagram, something like that.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. There you go. Awesome. Well, listen, mate. Yeah, I love working with you, pal. Like, looking forward to working with you in the future, and yeah, keep doing what you're doing. Come try Mark's food, and yeah.
Cool.
Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us on another Chef Life podcast. I've been your host, Alistair. If you'd like to learn more about our business, you can visit us at www.cottagefoodsltd.com. Give us a follow and a like on Instagram, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.